Kim Gyeongsoo gets slapped in the face by Hwang Cheolman. Hwang Cheolman starts abusing him and asks how he got into this situation. The story moves when Kim Gyeongsoo wakes up after the suicide attempt. He looks at the mirror and thinks to himself that he tried to kill himself. Jo Jeong-hee asks him how he could do that to himself. The male officer says he's lucky the rope snapped when he did. He has been out cold for a week. Jo Jeong-hee yells at Kim Gyeongsoo and accuses him of writing those stupid names in his suicide note, thinking it would solve all his problems. Kim Gyeongsoo asks her what nonsense she is spouting. Jo Jeong-hee explains that he wrote the names of the seniors who were bullying them in his note. Hwang Cheolman asks why this year's newcomers are so bad. He tells Kim Gyeongsoo that his parents committed double suicide after committing a crime. Hwang Yeongchin asks why he is trying to follow in their footsteps. If he wants to die, he should do it quickly. Hwang Cheolman then asks why he wrote their names in his suicide note and slaps Kim Gyeongsoo. However, Kim Gyeongsoo stops him and grabs his hand. Hwang Cheolman asks him if he has gone mad and looks to Jo Jeong-hee, asking if this is considered an act of rebellion. Jo Jeong-hee replies that she cannot see from down there. Hwang Yeongchin offers to help her and touches Jo Jeong-hee's hair. Kim Gyeongsoo states that this place is a mess too, and presses Hwang Cheolman's hands with full force, breaking his hand. Hwang Cheolman shouts and demands that Kim Gyeongsoo let go of his hand. Kim Gyeongsoo then kicks Hwang Yeongchin with full force. All the other officers are shocked and ask him how he could rebel against his superiors. The story moves to Senior Superintendent Choi Jin-ha's rooms. Choi Jin-ha becomes angry and asks how the policemen can fight against one another. He questions Kim Gyeongsoo, asking if he thinks police officers cannot be fired easily. He asserts that he will ensure Kim Gyeongsoo never wears that uniform again and tells him to leave the office. Kim Gyeongsoo sits in the garden and thinks to himself, how can coppers be worse? Jo Jeong-hee calls him and asks if he has gone mad. Kim Gyeongsoo replies that it was self-defense. One police officer says, does he forget that the senior's father is a deputy assistant commissioner, and he has a Hwaguksa MANHWA? Kim Gyeongsoo gets surprised to know that, and then they all say goodbye to each other. Kim Gyeongsoo sits in the garden and thinks to himself, this is why they can't catch people like me. They are rotten from the inside out. He considers that Hwang Cheolman and Hwang Yeongchin's father is a Hwaguksa MANHWA, the equivalent of the star in the army. He thinks he should have at least been reincarnated as a high-ranking copper. He feels like an outcast in the organization. The story goes back to Kim Gyeongsoo's childhood when he is standing in the rain, and the Buddha comes and asks him if he would like to come with him, then raises him as a murderer, and then kills him with his own hand. Kim Gyeongsoo goes to his room and sees the wire he tried to kill himself with and thinks he has been abandoned by his parents, his organization, and his death. The story moves to the Gyeonggi-do Province Seobu Police Department. Senior Superintendent General Hong Jun is sitting in his office, checking documents. Suddenly, Bi-Gwang comes behind him, puts a bullpen on his neck, and asks if they can chat. Hong Jun asks him who he is. Bi-Gwang replies that he is Bi-Gwang. Hong Jun asks him if he died and woke up as a police officer. If he were him, would he be able to believe what Bi-Gwang is saying? Kim Gyeongsoo says he is not asking Hong Jun to believe him. He is threatening him. He says that he will help him with his sweep operation of Hwaguksa. Hong Jun asks him again who exactly he is. Bi-Gwang replies again that he is Bi-Gwang. Hong Jun secretly picks up the wireless and presses the button. He tells Bi-Gwang that this is not the place to talk about Hwaguksa. Bi-Gwang tells him that he is not asking for a favor. He is threatening him. He killed other police officers before entering the office. The story moves to Bi-Gwang and Hong Jun sitting in Hong Jun's office. Hong Jun asks him, who is he? Bi-Gwang tells him that he is Bi-Gwang. Hong Jun gets angry with him. Bi-Gwang recalls the promise that was made to him 3 years ago. The story moves 3 years back. Hong Jun is sitting on the street and his arm is bleeding. Bi-Gwang comes before him, and Hong Jun asks him if he is from Hwaguksa. Bi-Gwang asks him if he is the guy chasing after Buddha and giving him much trouble. He tells him he is the first man to get so close to Buddha. The Buddha tells him to give a message to Hong Jun. Bi-Gwang presses a button from his umbrella, and a needle shoots out from the top, then moves the needle towards Hong Jun's neck. Hong Jun asks for mercy. Bi-Gwang removes his mask and says that he will let him live if, in exchange, he promises to put that assassin in jail within 3 years. Hong Jun asks him if he is not in the same organization. Bi-Gwang replies that he hates monks because they are bald. The story moves to Hong Jun's office. Bi-Gwang tells him that he hasn't kept his promise. He says he has gotten 3 big stars Mugunghwas, and it seems he has been promoted big time in the last 3 years. He says that the promise was broken, and he was sucked up up to his superiors, so now he has to be killed. Hong Jun replies that he did not break the promise on purpose. He asks whether Bi-Gwang really thinks he got this far just by sucking up to their superiors. If he becomes a high-ranking officer, getting his hands on secret information will be easy, and then he shows him some information he gathered. The story moves to the meeting room where all seniors sit, and Hong Jun shows them information about an organized group of assassins. One senior officer asks him, does he want to say that this supposed organization's boss is Monk Yuwa, nicknamed Buddha? Hong Jun replies, yes, that is correct. All senior officers start making fun of him, but Hong Jun says the result of his squad investigation clearly proves this. Buddha warned him that he might face divine punishment and should keep religion to himself and concentrate on his work. Hong Jun tells Bi-Gwang that seniors stopped him and showed him some documents collected by him and his squad through their blood, sweat, and tears. Bi-Gwang looks at the document and says his superiors stopped it because his investigation was bad. But some of the points are good, so he will let him live for now, and he will help him to avoid being murdered by him. The story moves to the Ilsan police station. Kim Gyeongsoo kicks down the door and enters the office, saying good morning to his friends. The other officers get shocked to see him, and Jo Jong-hee asks him if he was fired. Hearing the noise, senior officer Choi Jin-ha comes out from his room and asks Kim Gyeongsoo what he is doing there. Kim Gyeongsoo asks about those seniors. Choi Jin-ha replies that they are on sick leave and tells him to leave the office. Meanwhile, senior Hong Jun comes from behind Kim Gyeongsoo. Choi Jin-ha asks him what brings him here. Hong Jun replies that he came to see how Officer Kim Gyeongsoo's workplace is. Everyone is shocked to hear this. Choi Jin-ha asks if he may inquire about his relationship with Officer Kim Gyeongsoo. Hong Jun replies that Officer Kim Gyeongsoo is his savior and takes good care of him. The story cuts to Kim Gyeongsoo sitting in the garden and saying that life is easy if he is a high-ranking officer. Hong Jun asks if this is all he needs. The story moves to the Buddha sitting in the temple. Bi-Gwang appears behind him in the dark. Buddha asks who is there. He replies that he is a poor soul that's harboring a bitter grudge that's wandering around. Buddha looks at him and throws fiery needles, but he misses his goal, and the needles get stuck in the wall. Bi-Gwang replies that a monk should not dare to damage the temple that enshrines Buddha. Buddha asks him who he is. Bi-Gwang replies that he is a specter. Buddha says that he helps him to move forward and attain enlightenment. At the temple, Buddha orders their fighter to catch Bi-Gwang. They all start to attack him, but Bi-Gwang is knocking them out one by one in a brutal fight. When Buddha sees that he will lose this fight, he stops them from fighting. The camera does not work due to jamming signals set by the orchid. Bi-Gwang says that there are more souls who need his help to attain enlightenment. He must start now, otherwise they will become specters like him. The Buddha replies that he does not know who has sent him there, but that he seems to be full of evil, and then says let him take a look at his face. Bi-Gwang replies that he is good. He came to say hello today. In time, everyone will know who he is. Buddha attacks him to remove his mask. He grabs the mask, but Bi-Gwang drops a tear gas grenade and disappears. Buddha stands there holding the mask and then breaks it. The story moves to the garden where Bi-Gwang and Hong Jun are standing. Bi-Gwang says that Hong Jun looks like he's been 10 years old since yesterday. Hong Jun replies that it's because of Bi-Gwang. He doesn't know how much work he has to do because of it. He has to clean up the mess from breaking into the police department and the tear gas grenade he was asked to smuggle out. He says he works overtime to cover all that up. Bi-Gwang replies that if he had already caught them, he wouldn't have needed to do this. Hong Jun asks if he thinks it's easy. First, he needs to collect the evidence, and then he has to work with the prosecution. Bi-Gwang asks him why it's so complicated to arrest a criminal. Hong Jun asks what would a person like Bi-Gwang, who goes around killing people left and right, do? Bi-Gwang replies that he doesn't kill people left and right. He kills who needs to be killed, and he is living proof of that. Hong Jun tells him that no one in this world can obtain the right to kill someone even if they deserve to die. All human beings are judged by the laws of society that they have created for themselves. Even if they arrest 10 criminals, they must assume that a person is innocent until proven guilty, so they need solid evidence to arrest Buddha. Bi-Gwang asks him if he should just make his squad. Hong Jun replies that he can't because he is a rookie officer with no experience in the field. Bi-Gwang says he is the strongest. Hong Jun replies that he still can't because rank is everything within the police force. Bi-Gwang asks him how far he would have to climb to get the authority to form his squad. Hong Jun replies that he would have to get at least one of the small MANHWA. Bi-Gwang says he will quickly move up the ladder and get promoted. Hong Jun gets angry and tells Bi-Gwang not to cause trouble. Then suddenly, Bi-Gwang disappears behind Hong Jun. The story moves to the Ilsan police station. Kim Gyeongsoo asks Jo Jong-hee how he gets promoted. Jo Jong-hee replies that he has to take a promotional exam. Meanwhile, an officer handles a drunken girl and begs Gyeongsoo to take care of her. Kim Gyeongsoo asks Jo Jong-hee when the exam is. Jo Jong-hee asks him if he said his memories came back, but he doesn't know that thing. He tells Kim Gyeongsoo that he should have at least 1 year of experience for the exam. Kim Gyeongsoo asks him if there is a faster way to get promoted. Jo Jong-hoo asks him why he is trying to get a MANHWA as soon as possible. She tells him that it takes more than 10 years for a rookie to get his first MANHWA, starting at the bottom of the ladder. Kim Gyeongsoo asks him if one of his senior superintendents generals is backing him. Jo Jong-hoo replies that realistically taking the promotion exams is how he gets promoted. Kim Gyeongsoo asks if there is no other way. Jo Jong-hee replies that there is one special promotion. If his performance scores are boosted by catching bad guys, he can get a special promotion. The rookies don't have any experience in that field yet, so they are just doing what they are told and handling civil complaints. Hearing this, Kim Gyeongsoo disappears from there. He goes to a street where he sees many people doing bad things. He thinks, why would a cop need to be good at studying? Their job is to catch bad guys and send them to jail. So now he will work hard and get that special promotion. The story opens at a lively club where everyone is having a great time. Bi-Gwang observes the crowd. Bi-Gwang's mind ponders a sobering statistic. 1 in 3 Koreans has a criminal record. While he acknowledges that some of these records may be due to minor crimes, he wonders if such a proportion is still too high. He seeks a serious criminal offense that could serve as a stepping stone for his career advancement within the police force. As the night goes on, Bi-Gwang keeps a watchful eye on the crowd, searching for any signs of illicit activity. He saw a man giving a strange card to a girl. Inside the club, everyone is enjoying the vibrant atmosphere. Suddenly, the music comes to a halt, and puzzled voices rise as people wonder why the music stopped. A brown-haired man asks why everyone seems so tense tonight. Did they all dance too much last night, causing sore hips? He declares that he cannot take it anymore. A girl suggests that if he brings some champagne, they will have much more fun. A brown-haired man asks the gentleman if they have back pain and offers him some pain relief patches. Then, he tosses some patches and champagne in the air and tells them to enjoy themselves like there is no tomorrow. Bi-Gwang steps forward, declaring that there will be no tomorrow for him, as he believes he will wake up in jail. A brown-haired man taunts him, asking if he's upset because he couldn't find a girl, and offers him some patches to enhance his performance. Bi-Gwang calmly refuses, stating that he doesn't need such patches, and that they are actually narcotics. The revelation shocks everyone present. Curious about his identity and his bold claims, the brown-haired man demands to know who he is and why he's spouting nonsense. To everyone's surprise, Bi-Gwang removes the jacket covering his police uniform, revealing his true identity as a cop. The room erupts in shock and disbelief. The brown-haired man questions the guards about how a police officer managed to infiltrate their premises. But before he can make any further moves, Bi-Gwang throws a bottle at one of the guards, incapacitating him, and warns that he will continue the conversation in a prison cell. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, the brown-haired man starts to run and orders his men to pack their belongings. As he attempts to escape, Bi-Gwang swiftly eliminates anyone who stands in his way. The brown-haired man orders the guard to open the door, but it's stuck from the other side since Bi-Gwang had already killed the people on that end. Meanwhile, Bi-Gwang arrives at the scene and confronts the man, questioning if he's playing cops and robbers with him. The brown-haired man nervously asks if Bi-Gwang is there on his own and admits he was scared of being chased by just one police officer. He had mistaken it for a police raid. In an attempt to overpower Bi-Gwang, the brown-haired man commands his men to attack him. They take out red patches and place them on their necks, transforming into monsters and attacking Bi-Gwang. However, with impressive skill, Bi-Gwang quickly knocks them out within a few seconds. Feeling intimidated and desperate, the brown-haired man offers to provide anything Bi-Gwang desires: drugs, girls, or money. Bi-Gwang replies that he wants a special promotion. The story moves to Hong Jun, who sits in his office, watching the news. The news report reveals that last night, at the 20 club located in Ilsan, all the members of an organized drug trafficking group were arrested. The news raises concerns about South Korea no longer being a drug-free country. Hong Jun commends Kim Gyeongsoo, the senior police officer, for doing an excellent job. Kim Gyeongsoo responds that he merely fulfilled his duties as a police officer. Hong Jun inquires what kind of rookie abandons their assigned work and the proper procedures for apprehending suspects. He questions Kim Gyeongsoo about the manner in which he arrested the criminals. Kim Gyeongsoo replies that he is not a rookie anymore and reveals a mysterious object covered with a leaf. When Hong Jun asks about it, Kim Gyeongsoo explains that it was hidden in a safe at the crime scene. Hong Jun asks if Kim Gyeongsoo stole the evidence from the crime scene. The story shifts to a dark and ominous location where a group of people is torturing a man, affixing patches to his chest. In agony, the injured man pleads with Ms. Phoenix for help, explaining that he was the one in charge of Ilson. Ms. Phoenix instructs her associate to apply another patch. Despite the man's desperate cries for assistance, they stick another patch onto him, causing an explosion at his face. Ms. Phoenix thinks that Big Brother Bi-Gwang died, and Big Brother Maple Leaf got scolded. She expresses her reluctance to face the same fate and she must act swiftly to handle the police officer. The story moves to Bi-Gwang doing some exercises in his room. He contemplates that the only thing he has felt since being in someone else's body is that this body is well trained. It possesses a perfect balance of muscle strength, endurance, flexibility, and agility. However, in order for him to take down Hwaguksa Temple's Buddha and all the executives, this body still needs further improvement. He realizes that he requires more time to achieve his goals. The story shifts to the police station, where Bi-Gwang is sitting and his colleague approaches him, asking if he has spare time for them. Bi-Gwang sits in the garden and his colleague stands nearby. They express their desire to get promoted and all of them seek his support. Bi-Gwang questions why they are sharing this with him. Jo Jeon-hee says it's because he has the backing of the senior superintendent general. Hwang Hee-jun officer playfully covers Jo Jeon-hee's mouth, saying it's actually because he recently got promoted, and he's there for Bi-Gwang, ready to assist if needed. They emphasize that they are willing to work diligently for him. Bi-Gwang responds, asking why he would need their help. Jo Jeon-hee asks if Bi-Gwang has forgotten how nice they were to him. Bi-Gwang replies that he is experiencing short-term amnesia, so he doesn't remember. Jo Jeon-hee reminds him of the kindness they showed him when they were picked on by seniors together and visited him in the hospital. Lee Seong-hyun comes near him, placing their hands on his shoulder, confirming their friendship as colleagues. The story shifts back to the time when Bi-Gwang worked in the Hwaguksa temples. Two sturdy men approach Bi-Gwang, questioning if he is the renowned assassin who selects whom to kill. They believe that a person like him is the best among all assassins. Meanwhile, Ms. Phoenix arrives and expresses her annoyance, stating that Buddha gives Big Brother Bi-Gwang special treatment, and she wanted him to die. The story moves to Bi-Gwang and his colleagues. Bi-Gwang becomes angry at them and tells them to come back to him when they get promoted. He points out that these guys have 2 diamonds while he has 3. Jo Jin-gu, in a fit of anger, starts abusing him. Meanwhile, senior officer Choi Jin-ha arrives at the scene and asks why everyone is loitering around there. He questions if they have finished their work. They respond that they are on a little break. Choi Jin-ha expresses his disapproval, stating that he can say nothing about brats like them, they are all rubbish. However, he makes an exception for their Gyeongsoo and refers to him as their station's lucky charm. He then asks Bi-Gwang if he is hurt anywhere, and Bi-Gwang mentions that his shoulder hurts a little bit. Choi Jin-ha starts giving him a shoulder massage, which shocks everyone, and Jo Jin-soo remarks that he has changed his tune now that he's getting a promotion thanks to Gyeongsoo. The story shifts to the hospital, where Hwang Yeongchun is angry with Kim Gyeongsoo. Hwang Cheolman tries to calm him down, warning him that getting angry will raise his blood pressure and cause him pain. Hwang Yeongchun asks if it's true that the senior superintendent general is backing Gyeongsoo, and that he got a special promotion. Hwang Cheolman confirms that the entire station revolves around Gyeongsoo. Hwang Yeongchan stated that he won't believe it until he sees it with his own 2 eyes. Meanwhile, Ms. Phoenix approaches them and asks for a favor as she needs help finding her way. Hwang Yeongchun initially declines, stating they don't do favors and advises her to use her phone for directions. She reveals that her phone is running out of battery. Hwang Yeongchun and Hwang Cheolman notice her appearance, finding her very pretty. Hwang Yeongchun apologizes for being rude earlier. Ms. Phoenix then asks if they can help her out. Hwang Yeongchun says of course they can and asks her where she wants to go. She says she wants to go to the Ilson police station. They reply that it is their police station. They can all go together. She inquires about Officer Kim Gyeongsoo. They confirm that they know him, as he is their junior, and ask her about her business with Gyeongsoo. She replies that he has something that belongs to her, and if she can't get it back, her father will kill him. Hwaguksa jokingly says that he thought she was going to say that she is Gyeongsoo's girlfriend. She offers some gukwa bread as a thank you for their assistance. The story moves to Hong-jun, who is sitting in his office and reviewing the reports given to him by Bi-Gwang. As he reads through the reports, he realizes that she is the one in charge of Hwaguksa's funds and primarily carries out assassinations through the use of drugs. The drugs have different stages and are codenamed Buddha's tears. One important point to note is that she is afraid of being scolded by Buddha, and within Hwaguksa, she is infamous as the crazy one. Ms. Phoenix arrives at the police station. Jo Jeong-hee asks her if she lost something and what kind of item she is looking for. She replies that it's a bundle of paulownia flowers wrapped in a paulownia leaf. Jo Jeong-hee then turns to Bi-Gwang and asks if he has something like that there. Ms. Phoenix points toward Bi-Gwang and says, "This police officer has it." Jo Jeong-hee is puzzled and asks Bi-Gwang what she is talking about. Meanwhile, Bi-Gwang attempts to call Hong-jun, but calls are not possible due to the Orchid signal jammers. The story moves back to Bi-Gwang's childhood where he is engaged in a fight against his colleagues. He defeats Phoenix badly. At that moment, Buddha arrives and asks Bi-Gwang if he sees anyone that can be of use. Bi-Gwang replies that he sees no one. Buddha orders his guards to take all of them and kill them. Bi-Gwang suggests that with a bit of training, they can be useful. However, Buddha reminds him that he had advised against having sympathy, as it is not an emotion he should possess. Phoenix insists that she can still fight and will train hard to be of use to Buddha, but he coldly replies that it would be quicker for her to die and be reborn in her next life to serve him. The guard then administers poison to her. The next morning, Buddha comes out and asks the guard if everything has been taken care of. One guard informs him that this kid is still breathing. Buddha takes her inside with him and orders her to empty all the plates that fill with drug pills within 1 month if she wants to be of any use to him. Ms. Phoenix agrees and gradually builds up her tolerance to the drugs. By the time she becomes an adult, Buddha names her November's Phoenix and gives her a mask. She declares that she will be a useful child. The story comes to the present in the police station where Ms. Phoenix asks Bi-Gwang if he can't hear her or if he is ignoring her. Bi-Gwang replies that the thing she is asking about is in his house and invites her to follow him there. Ms. Phoenix says that there's no way he would keep drugs in his house and throws some drug patches at him. However, he quickly moves aside, and the patches end up sticking to his colleagues, causing them to fall unconscious. At the same time, Ms. Phoenix's guards put the patches on all the other people in the police station. Ms. Phoenix tells Bi-Gwang that he needs to do something to save them as they will die soon if not treated. She asks to reveal the location of her drugs. In response, Bi-Gwang attacks her, grabs the jammer, and destroys it. In the midst of the struggle, her shirt gets torn. Bi-Gwang calls Hong-jun for backup. He tells that no one is watching them, making it the perfect opportunity for an assassination. Confused, Ms. Phoenix asks what he means. Bi-Gwang tells her she will find out once he beats some sense into her and challenges her to start the fight. He vows to make her remember the good old days. Bi-Gwang is ready to fight with Ms. Phoenix. Phoenix remarks that he has such a harsh tongue and threatens to beat up a woman. He also ripped her clothes as well. Bi-Gwang attacks her, landing a hard blow on her head, causing it to bleed. Enraged, Ms. Phoenix starts hurling abuses at him, asking if he has a death wish. Bi-Gwang retorts that she still looks ugly when she's angry. Ms. Phoenix expresses her surprise, questioning if he is not a normal police officer, and asking if he is from the Special Forces. Ms. Phoenix takes out a red patch and sticks it on her neck, taunting him that she doesn't care about his previous job and believes he will end up in hell soon. She transforms into a monster and prepares to attack him. However, Bi-Gwang knocks her out, explaining that she needs at least 10 patches to stand a chance against him. Ms. Phoenix starts berating him after the intense beating. Bi-Gwang remarks that she has not changed, still relying on drugs and neglecting to train her body. Ms. Phoenix asks to know who he thinks he is. Bi-Gwang strikes her legs with a baton, causing her to fall heavily. He places the baton on her neck, applying pressure, and suggests that perhaps this beating will help her recognize him, even if her drug-addled brain is foggy. Ms. Phoenix angrily questions the sense of his words. Suddenly, the baton breaks, and she delivers a powerful punch to Bi-Gwang's face. Observing the broken baton, Bi-Gwang comments on its poor quality, typically given to low-ranked officers. Ms. Phoenix then applies a multicolor patch to her head, surprising Bi-Gwang as he had never seen one like it before. He asks if it's a new type of patch. He also notices changes in himself, likely caused by the patch's contact through his clothes. Still, she doesn't seem to fare any better than he does. She questions him about his identity. Just then, her guard arrives and informs him that Orchid has contacted them, and backup officers are nearly there. Bi-Gwang tells him he will let her go for today, but they will meet again soon. Ms. Phoenix orders the guard to gather everyone and leave. On her way, she thinks that the copper reminds her of Bi-Gwang. The backup team reaches the police station and begins administering treatment to the injured people. Hong Jun expresses anger towards Bi-Gwang, blaming him for the situation. Bi-Gwang tosses the baton to his face and retorts that they wouldn't have lost control if the equipment wasn't of such poor quality. He questions how a baton can collapse so easily with a little pressure. Hong Jun responds they are designed to collapse easily because they are not meant to be used in the manner Bi-Gwang used them. Bi-Gwang mentions that he can't feel his arms and Hong Jun quickly calls for medical assistance. Bi-Gwang reflects on the unexpected turn of events and considers himself lucky that Ms. Phoenix got scared off. He speculates whether they increased the drug's dosage or if it's an entirely new drug. Bi-Gwang thinks about how Ms. Phoenix has become like a human narcotic at this point. He had expected everything to go smoothly, but it seems that things will be a little bumpy. He asks Hong Jun for a favor. Hong Jun asks what he needs this time. Bi-Gwang explains that he wants to borrow some equipment, but not the cheap kind, he needs the expensive ones. Bi-Gwang enters his room, but Ms. Phoenix's guards are already waiting for him. They drop a lot of drugs and inform him that it's a substance that will make him hallucinate and pass out. They say he may experience more than delusions and could overdose and die. Bi-Gwang calmly responds that he knows they will be there and questions why Ms. Phoenix herself did not come. Bi-Gwang enters his room in full uniform, concealing his face and carrying a high-quality gun. The Phoenix guards are already waiting for him there. One of them remarks that he has the gun, while the other sarcastically replies that the gun is definitely not loaded. Unfazed, Bi-Gwang fires the gun at both guards, causing them to fall unconscious. Startled by the gunshots, some neighbors come out and inquire about the situation to the police officers. They ask what is going on and if they heard gunshots. The officers calmly reply that they are still trying to figure things out as well. Hong Jun asks Bi-Gwang if those were just rubber bullets and questions how many times he fired the gun. Bi-Gwang confidently replies that he gave the guards exactly what they deserved. He warns that they might wake up in the middle of being transported, so someone needs to remove the poison pills from under their tongues. Hong Jun orders Bi-Gwang that he do that. Bi-Gwang expresses his initial skepticism towards Hong Jun but acknowledges that he still provided the necessary equipment. Hong Jun questions how anyone in their right mind can believe such a story. However, after witnessing the drug incident, the encounter with Phoenix, and now this, he says he is almost 99% certain that he is Bi-Gwang. Bi-Gwang inquires why he is not 100% certain. Hong Jun explains that the reason for the 1% doubt is that if Bi-Gwang is truly back, why hasn't he found and killed Monk Yuwa? Bi-Gwang replies that he said solid evidence is important. He asks him, can a policeman even say that kind of thing? Hong Jun says that is correct from a policeman's perspective. Bi-Gwang emphasizes that the public holds great respect for and worships Buddha, viewing him as the reincarnation of Buddha. He explains that killing him alone wouldn't solve the entire problem, as the repercussions would be immense. Hong Jun inquires about other organizations besides Hwaguksa, but Bi-Gwang dismisses their significance, stating that he doesn't care about them. He is solely focused on bringing down Monk Yuwa in any way possible, ensuring that no one else suffers as he did. Hong Jun declares that he will assist Bi-Gwang in their mission to bring down Monk Yuwa and put him in jail. This offer takes him aback Bi-Gwang and asks what he means by helping him. He clarifies that he is the one helping Hong Jun to avoid being killed by him. He firmly grasps Hong Jun's hand, urging him to cooperate and listen if he wants to stay alive. Bi-Gwang tells that it's not that he didn't try to kill Monk Yuwa before. He attempted to do so but failed. Buddha applies full force to press Phoenix's neck. Phoenix apologizes again and pleads for her life. Buddha taunts her, questioning if she has consumed so many drugs that her brain has melted. He accuses her of stealing from him and storming into the police station. She continues to apologize, promising not to repeat the same mistake. Meanwhile, the Lespedeza brothers arrive, mocking Phoenix for crying like a baby and hitting a new low. They insult her, calling her a druggie and warning her that crying will lead to muscle loss, which will only cause more trouble for her. Phoenix asks why they are there. March's cherry blossom phoenix Unnai also arrives and asks what she means. She says she doesn't realize Buddha summoned them. Buddha confirms that everyone is present, and he declares that the case regarding the disposal of November Phoenix will now commence. Phoenix says she will make sure to get back what she has lost, and she pleads for forgiveness. Buddha replies that there is no need because he has already retrieved it. Everyone is surprised by how he managed to do so. Buddha then asks April's Black Lespedeza, July Lespedeza, and March Cherry Blossom what they think should be done with Phoenix. July Lespedeza suggests killing her, stating that she is just a druggie. Black Lespedeza adds that he believes no one can be as wicked as her, given her reliance on narcotics to become strong. Phoenix Unnai confesses that she had grown close to Phoenix during their time together, but acknowledges that in their line of work, they have to be professionals, and the world they live in is cold and cruel. Buddha announces that the majority has voted to kill him, and Phoenix expresses her disappointment, telling Buddha that he is too cruel and had intended to kill her from the start. She accuses him of bringing people who already hold grudges against her. Phoenix Unnai then steps forward and hands the gun to Buddha. However, Buddha states that he does not need someone who will be of no assistance to him, and he points the gun toward Phoenix. Phoenix reveals that she has created a new drug, which is 5 times more addictive than the previous one, and she developed it herself, so it will be difficult to be caught by inspection. She explains that the drug has around 10 kilos of distribution and connects all the routes between Korea's red light districts, Japan, China, and all of Southeast Asia. She pleads for half a year to prove her usefulness to Buddha, promising to become a useful asset to him. Buddha remarks that she has lost too much because of her little stunt and gives her 3 months to prove herself. Bi-Gwang comes to the hospital to visit his colleagues, Jo Jeon, who is in a very bad state. Bi-Gwang asks Hwang Hee-jun what is wrong with her. He replies that she is going through withdrawals, and the doctor said her body is sensitive to drugs or something. Jo Jeon, who is trying to say something. Bi-Gwang asks Hwang Hee-jun what she is saying. He tells him that she is asking if he can wipe her face. He also says he is surprised because he came here to see how they are doing. Bi-Gwang says these guys were saying how they came to visit him when he was in the hospital, so here he is. They ask him if he is getting a special promotion again. Bi-Gwang replies that he has not heard from them yet. Hong Jun and Bi-Gwang sit in the office. Hong Jun says there is a mole inside the police organization. He wanted to test those drugs he brought, so he sent them all to the forensic lab. But they have gone missing. Someone managed to smuggle them out. He asks Bi-Gwang if he has any clue as to who could have done it. Bi-Gwang replies that he does not know everything about the police organization, but the drug was going to be their key evidence. He says he will bring some more back with him when he goes to catch Phoenix, so he deals with the internal parts of the organization on his own and hurries up to get info out of Phoenix's underlings. Hong Jun tells him that they are still interrogating them. Bi-Gwang asks him about the specialized team he mentioned for investigating Hwaguksa. He wonders where he is going to use them. Hong Jun tells him that they are all dead and no one is left. Bi-Gwang gets angry and grabs his collar, asking him who the hell he is to lie to him. He tells him that he could not trust him, so he shouldn't move or he will get hurt. He punches Hong Jun's face and asks him why they don't make a new team. He asks him if he said earlier that he needed to have at least one small MANHWA if he wants to make his own team. Hong Jun says that he has 2 Tiguk MANHWA and no one will stop him to form a new team. Bi-Gwang says that he doesn't want to form a team because he likes to work alone. Hong Jun reminds him that he just said he needed a team. Bi-Gwang explains that's because he did not do things properly. Hong Jun says that the police are an agency, an organization, and there are limits on how much he can do alone. It will be easier for him to go around with a team. He will get more funding, and it will be easier to make up excuses. So, as a senior superintendent general, he is ordering him to create a team. He tells him that he can't make one himself since he has a lot of eyes watching him, and there are too many risk factors. Bi-Gwang says that if he asks nicely rather than ordering, he will consider it. Hong Jun says, please make a team. Bi-Gwang goes to the hospital and tells his colleagues that they are going to create a team. Everyone is surprised to hear this, and Lee Seong-hyun says that is the power of the senior superintendent general backing him. Jo Jeong-hee asks about who will be the team members. Bi-Gwang says these guys will become their team. Lee Seong-hyun says he thought he had become a rubbish bastard after getting hurt on the head, but he is still thoughtful of them. They all thank him and say they will work like dogs for him. Hwang Hee-jun gets emotional and says he assumes that he will die doing office paperwork for the rest of his life. He considers Bi-Gwang a good colleague. Bi-Gwang asks them what they mean by colleague. He says he does not need colleagues who are helpful. He just needs obedient people who follow everything he says. They ask him if they are not his colleagues. Bi-Gwang says they are all his slaves. People who die when he tells them to die and live when he tells them to live. They all become shocked. Bi-Gwang says that if they understand now, they should call him master, and only then will he let them join the team. Bi-Gwang tells them that according to the reports Hong Jun showed him, he points toward Hwang Hee-jun and says, his name is Hwang Hee-jun. He is 25 years old and well-trained in boxing, kickboxing, taekwondo, and many other martial arts. If he looks at his records, he seems like a great candidate. However, he failed the written exam 4 times and barely made the cut, coming in last place. Hwang Hee-jun asks Hong Jun what exactly he mean by chief. Isn't it true that he needs at least one small MANHWA to be called a chief? Lee Seong-hun tells him that he is not a chief, he is a master. Bi-Gwang says, Hwang Hee-jun is basically dumb. He points to the man beside him with a receding hairline and says his name is Lee Seong-hun. He is 25 years old and well-trained in martial arts related to grappling and ground fighting, such as jiu-jitsu and judo. His records also seem great, but on the day of the interview, he bursts out in tears like a goddamn crybaby. Lee Seong-hyun starts crying again and asks Bi-Gwang if he doesn't understand how terrifying it sounds to call him master. They are colleagues. Jo Jeon-hee tells Lee Seong-hyun that he's crying again. It is a waste of muscles. Bi-Gwang continues, talking about Jo Jeon-hee, saying that she is 25 years old and has no training in any martial arts. She also got last place in the physical exams, making her the weakest officer in the police force. However, she finished first in the written exam and first place in the interviews as well, and she is very intelligent. Jo Jeon-hee says she will do whatever he tells her to do. She pleads with him to take her into his squad. The next morning, Bi-Gwang is doing some exercise in the garden and calls their colleagues there too. Hwang Hee-jun asks him why he calls them out there on the weekend. Bi-Gwang responds, why are they all just standing around? Start doing some exercise. He tells them that they are police officers and he is a dangerous criminal. They have 5 minutes to prepare, and then they all will charge at him simultaneously, attempting to subdue him. Everyone becomes shocked, and Hwang Hee-jun asks if it will be 3 against 1. Lee Seong-hyun asks what will happen if he gets hurt. Bi-Gwang replies that they will start in exactly 4 minutes. The 3 of them sit together and start gossiping about Bi-Gwang. Bi-Gwang tells them that he can hear them. Hwang Hee-jun says they agreed to do whatever he orders them to do. Jo Jeon-hee starts making a plan and says to Hee-jun, pretend he is going straight for him, and Seong-hyun will tackle him to the ground. Lee Seong-hyun tells them that he is scared. Bi-Gwang calls them and says the time is finished. Hwang Hee-jun steps forward and tries to confuse him with his footsteps. Bi-Gwang asks him why he is tap dancing all of a sudden. Jo Jeon-hee tells him to get close to Bi-Gwang. Bi-Gwang punches his face, and he falls down on the ground unconscious. Jo Jeon-hee tells Lee Seong-hyun to go next and fight, but he says he can't do it and starts running from the ground. Bi-Gwang comes near him and asks if he should show his back to a criminal and punches him in the face. Then he looks at Jo Jeon-hoo. Jo Jeon-hoo gets scared and asks if he doesn't pull his punches on girls. Bi-Gwang asks him if women are not police officers and kicks her in the face. He asks them how they are going to catch criminals like this. He tells them to rest for 10 minutes, and then they will repeat this training 3 times today. Hong Jun and Bi-Gwang are sitting in the office. Hong Jun asks Bi-Gwang how the creation of his team is going. Bi-Gwang replies that they are absolute rubbish. He can't understand how they even passed the exams to become police officers. Hong Jun tells him not to be so hard on them. Bi-Gwang retorts that they are not going after ordinary criminals. They are going after people like him. He then angrily asks Hong Jun when he is going to finish the interrogation. After all this time, how is it possible to come up with nothing? Hong Jun responds that he doesn't know what to do when their mouths are tightly shut. Bi-Gwang says he has an amazing idea. Bi-Gwang goes to the interrogation room where Choi Sang-muk and Kim Dong-cheol, Phoenix's guards, are tied to chairs. Bi-Gwang starts introducing them and says the enormous one dressed in blue flower patterned clothes is Choi Sang-muk, Phoenix's right-hand man. He asks them if he is not the left-hand man and as Kim Dong-cheol is the right-hand man. Kim Dong-cheol asks him who he is. Bi-Gwang tells him that he is Bi-Gwang. Bi-Gwang is in the interrogation room with Choi Sang-muk and Kim Dong-cheol. Kim Dong-cheol asks him what he is talking about, stating that Bi-Gwang is dead. He says the person in front of them may look like Bi-Gwang, but he can't be alive. Bi-Gwang says he recognizes the scar on Kim Dong-cheol's chest and asks if it's from being stepped on with high heels. Because Kim Dong-cheol got caught smuggling drugs, Phoenix beat him. Kim Dong-cheol asks him again if Bi-Gwang did not pass away. Bi-Gwang tells them that the Buddha assigned him to a top-secret mission. He was to fake his death and infiltrate the police organization, closely monitoring the moves made by high-ranking officers. He asks them if he heard that Phoenix lost her drugs and even stormed into a police station, but she couldn't retrieve them. He wants to know what she is up to now. Bi-Gwang reveals that he has disabled the voice recorder's signals with Orchid's jammers, enabling them to talk freely. The fate Phoenix will face depends on how they answer. If she is lying in her hiding place, paralyzed with fear and regret for creating such a mess, he will follow Buddha's orders and shorten her lifespan. They both shout at him, assuring him that he doesn't have to worry about Phoenix because she is currently in the process of making a new drug. Bi-Gwang then asks them for more details about the new drug. The story moves to Hong Jun's office, where he reviews the drug details showing that the new drug is 5 times stronger than the previous one. Bi-Gwang tells him that they are planning to distribute it all over the streets within half a year, and asks him to take a look at the report. The report contains information on the locations of club managers under Phoenix's operation, and the gangs that are distributing drugs for them. Hong Jun asks if he has not found out where Phoenix lives. Bi-Gwang tells him that even her guards do not know her whereabouts. Only the managers of Phoenix might be aware of it. Hong Jun tells them they must bring the manager in and extract the information. Bi-Gwang agrees, saying that they need to barge into their headquarters and get those individuals here. However, he doubts it will not be easy to get any information out of them. The story moves to Phoenix, who is sitting in a room. Choi Sang-muk, the distribution manager, enters and asks if 3 months is a little bit too much. Kim Gyeongsoo, the production manager, stands beside him and mentions that he heard 2 of her men were captured by the police, making it too risky to rush things. He suggests asking Buddha for more time. Phoenix responds by questioning if those guys will take responsibility if she gets scolded by Buddha. Meanwhile, Sang-pi also arrives and says she will take responsibility. Fear has gotten to her head, and she says what went on during the time when she was not on her side. Phoenix says that if she says to do it within 3 months, then it must be done in 3 months. She orders Choi Sang-muk to connect all the distribution routes and push the date forward, and Kim Gyeongsoo to prepare the stuff as fast as he can. Choi Sang-muk says he will try his best. Phoenix hugs Sang-pi. Sang-pi assures him not to be afraid because she will have him by her side. She promises to take care of everything for him as fast as she can. The story moves to Bi-Gwang and his colleagues on the ground. Bi-Gwang tells them that they have rested for 10 minutes, and now they should get up and come at him again. Jo Jeong-hee says that he is being just a little bit too much. They did not hear anything about training like this. Bi-Gwang asks them if they really told him that they would do anything and everything. Jo Jeong-hee says that this is just torture. She reminds him that they joined his team to catch bad guys, not to fight with him. Bi-Gwang asks them if they genuinely want to catch bad guys. If they do, then they should follow him. Bi-Gwang takes all of them to a place where some people are packing Phoenix's drug. Bi-Gwang orders their colleagues to attack them and asks them what they are waiting for. There are bad guys right in front of them. They all become shocked. Bi-Gwang kicks them into action. The leader of the drug group orders their men to get rid of them. After wishing them good luck, Bi-Gwang leaves the scene. The gangster group is ready to fight them. Hwang Hee-jun asks the others what they should do. He has fought one-on-one before, but this is his first time fighting against multiple people. Lee Seong-hyun says he wants to go home. Jo Jeong-hee asks them to calm down and says it's not like they are going to die here. Even though Gyeongsoo may be a bad person, he isn't so bad as to abandon them to die. Jo Jeong-hee urges them to show Gyeongsoo that they, too, are police officers. Bi-Gwang watches them from the window and thinks, as he expected, she is intelligent enough to realize that they must keep calm in this situation. However, her action is of no help though. Jo Jeong-hee tells Hwang Hee-jun to attack them and reminds him that he has to get the first hit as they planned. Hwang Hee-jun runs toward the gangster group to fight. However, one of the gangsters hits him on the head. Hwang Hee-jun says it doesn't hurt much, comparing it to Gyeongsoo's hits, which are much stronger. He attacks the gangster and knocks him out, feeling satisfied and happy with his success. Another gangster tries to hit him from behind with a rod, but Lee Seong-hyun intervenes and knocks him out. Hwang Hee-jun and Lee Seong-hyun continue fighting against the gangsters and successfully knock them out. Kim Gyeongsoo thinks that they are all pumped up now. He believes those two might be useful if he trains them a little more. The leader of the gangsters gets angry, feeling embarrassed by being beaten up by 2 police officers. At the same moment, Kim Gyeongsoo realizes that it's over for them. The fear has entered their minds, and the pain will be multiplied if fear consumes them. He knows they have a long way to go. Meanwhile, the leader of the gangsters attacks both Hwang Hee-jun and Lee Seong-hyun, knocking them out with a single punch. Jo Jong-hee lies down on the floor and pretends to surrender, saying she will tell him everything she knows and begs him not to hit her. Secretly, she attacks the gangster with a taser. Kim Gyeongsoo also enters the scene and strikes the gangster, knocking him out. Kim Gyeongsoo tells them to take the drugs from the table and move. They ask if it's alright to just leave those guys like that. Kim Gyeongsoo replies someone else will take care of it. After being beaten up by Kim Gyeongsoo and his colleagues, the group leader tells Choi Sang-muk about everything that happened earlier. Choi Sang-muk gets angry and kills him. He notices a card on the table where the drugs were laying. The story moves to Hong Jun's office. After seeing many drug patches, he remarks that they can become drug dealers if they go ahead with the plan, as the information was not a hoax. Bi-Gwang asks him if the plans for the ambush have been finalized. Hong Jun confirms that they have, and he will introduce Bi-Gwang to one of the officers who will take part in the ambush. He expresses his faith in this officer. Hong Jun calls the officer Superintendent Kim Ah-hyung inside and instructs Bi-Gwang to say hello to the one who will be participating in the operation. He introduces Bi-Gwang as Senior Police Officer Kim Gyeongsoo. Kim Ah-hyung comes close and holds Bi-Gwang's face, expressing her disapproval of him sitting in the Senior Superintendent General's office as if it were his living room. She asks him if he has lost his sense. Bi-Gwang replies that his legs hurt. Hong Jun interrupts, saying that everything is alright, and urges them to calm down and proceed to the planning. Kim Ah-hyung insists that she is not alright with Bi-Gwang's behavior. She dislikes rude behavior from others and tells Bi-Gwang to get up. However, Bi-Gwang tells her to try and make him get up, stating that he doesn't want to get up. He adds that Superintendent and Senior all start with an S, so he doesn't see much difference and doesn't care about hierarchy. Kim Ah-hyung decides to take matters into her own hands and says she will make him get up. Kim Ah-hyung puts her foot on Kim Gyeongsoo's leg. Hong Jun stops her and says, "Don't pick a fight." However, she kicks Kim Gyeongsoo. Kim Gyeongsoo realizes that her KNP-soo is different from Hwang Hee-jun's. She is on a different level. Kim Ah-hyung asks how dare he dodge all her kicks, and she becomes even angrier. She declares that if that's the way he wants to play, she will grab a hold of him and take him down. Kim Gyeongsoo observes that she switches to grappling in an instant. She is fast on her feet too, and this is on another level compared to Lee Seong-hyun. He thinks she will be a valuable addition to his team and punches her in the face. She falls down onto Kim Gyeongsoo's lap. Kim Gyeongsoo asks why she said she would get him up, but now she's the one lying down. Kim Ah-hyung starts scolding him. Hong Jun sits aside, enjoying their fight while eating chocolate. After their fight, Hong Jun announces that he will now explain Operation Phoenix on top of a Polonia tree. According to the reports, on the last weekend of every month, the managers of the target drug organization gather for a meeting in a basement club. The operation will take place in about 15 days, during the weekend at the end of the month. The second platoon, led by Superintendent Kim Ah-hyung, and the team led by Senior Officer Kim Gyeongsoo will carry out the plan. Kim Ah-hyung raises an objection, questioning the reliability of the information in the report. Hong Jun replies that Senior Officer Kim Gyeongsoo obtained the information through interrogation. Kim Ah-hyung doubts this, saying that the suspects remained silent during her interrogation. Kim Gyeongsoo retorts that she should be thankful he was able to get the information and asks why she is complaining so much. Kim Ah-hyung angrily tells him to shut up and demands to know why he isn't using honorifics with her. Kim Gyeongsoo challenges her, asking what she will do about it. Kim Ah-hyung insists that she won't believe the information unless she hears it from the suspects' own mouths. She suggests interrogating them again. However, Hong Jun informs her that another interrogation is impossible because the suspects are dead. Kim Gyeongsoo questions the poor security in the place. Hong Jun dismisses everyone, telling them to ensure they are prepared for the operation and meet again at the next meeting. Kim Ah-hyung asks how they died. Hong Jun tells Kim Gyeongsoo to stay there for a second. Confused, Kim Ah-hyung asks why he is staying and what is going on. Before leaving the room, she challenges Kim Gyeongsoo. After she leaves, Hong Jun shows a card to Kim Gyeongsoo and tells him that it was found in the interrogation room where the two suspects were found dead. He asks if anything comes to mind. The story moves to Phoenix, who sees the card left behind by Kim Gyeongsoo and his colleagues after they took the drug patches. Choi Sang-muk informs her that they found the card in the warehouse that was ambushed by the cops. Kim Dong-cheol expresses concern, stating that something seems wrong, and asks if they should report this to Buddha. Phoenix dismisses the idea, saying it can't be Bi-Gwang because he is dead, and she fears Buddha will scold them for such nonsense. She finds the situation impossible to believe and decides they must proceed with the plan to avoid any dire consequences. However, she starts to panic, wondering why the coppers left the Bi-Gwang card behind. It doesn't make sense to her, but she feels compelled to continue with the plan or face severe consequences. She becomes agitated and starts screaming. Choi Sang-muk and Kim Dong-cheol ordered to bring Sang-pi. She arrives and puts some patches on Phoenix's head, calming her down. Phoenix then instructs Choi Sang-muk and Kim Dong-cheol to carry on with the plan despite the risks and their worries. Kim Dong-cheol voices his concerns about the cops knowing everything now. She orders Sang-pi to give a drug patch to each of them as well, telling them that if they are worrying too much, things will always go wrong. Sang-pi distributes the patches, and Phoenix informs them that the patches were just refined and purified, assuring them that they are fresh. Choi Sang-muk and Kim Dong-cheol take the patches and apply them, feeling their worries fading away. They become confident that everything will proceed according to plan and decide to continue with it. The story moves to Kim Gyeongsoo, who is waiting for their colleagues to arrive at the ground, but only Jo Jeong-who shows up. He says this is not good. Did the other two run away? Jo Jeong-who tells him that they said they would stop by the hospital on the way. She asks if they can rest since she is the only one here. Kim Gyeongsoo says that until the others come, both of them will do one-on-one special secret training. Kim Gyeongsoo tells her that her body is trash. Jo Jeong-who insists she has a decent body. Kim Gyeongsoo replies that it is absolute horse shit. She has no muscle mass, no endurance, and her flexibility is comparable to that of a statue. She does not have a single fighting specific trait. They are going to be sent out on an operation soon, and she will probably be the first one to die. She asks what kind of operation they are going to be sent out on. Kim Gyeongsoo thinks at first he thought, who would let her become a police officer? But as time passed, he came to a somewhat plausible explanation for why. He knew she was intelligent, but she is much more brilliant than he expected. From what she heard, she memorized all of the restaurant's numbers in the area, and was nicknamed the Human Delivery App. He tells her that if she does not want to die young, right now, the best thing she can do is focus on her strengths and avoid wasting time trying to hide her weaknesses. Showing her a baton, he says from now on, when they are training, think of this foldable baton as a weapon. When it is folded, think of it as a knife, and when it is unfolded, think of it as a type of blunt weapon, and he will treat her with extra care so that she can learn with her body. He tells her to make sure she memorizes it with that genius brain of hers. He moves the baton toward her head. She asks what it is. He replies that she should just wait and see. Lee Seong-hun and Hwang Hee-jun come there and see Kim Gyeongsoo sitting on Jo Jeong-who. Jo Jeong-who says it was too intense. They ask what they two were doing. Kim Gyeongsoo asks them if they really want to know and assures them that they will find out soon enough. They express their desire to live the rest of their lives without knowing. 15 days later, on the day of the operation, Phoenix on top of a paulownia tree, they gather. Hwang Hee-jun says he just lived through 15 days of hell. Lee Seong-hyun says he doesn't want to experience that ever again. Jo Jeong-who asks what kind of operation it is for them to work with the KNP-soo. Kim Ah-hyung asks Kim Gyeongsoo what exactly they are supposed to be doing all the way here in the woods. She expresses her anger that if they find nothing, she will kill him. They arrive near a tunnel and spot two guards. Jo Jeong-soo questions who the hell those pervy chicken heads are and the KNP-soo team starts attacking them. Kim Ah-hyung reports on the wireless that they have successfully taken down two guards and will now commence the operation. Kim Ah-hyung orders the KNP-soo officers to stay there and watch over the two guards lying on the floor. Kim Gyeongsoo remarks that she is quite dumb. Kim Ah-hyung replies that in the first place, the collaboration between KNP-soo and some town police officers is absurd. How a town officer is retorting against her orders. She explains that she allowed them to tag along due to the senior superintendent general's orders, but from now on, they should stay back as she will only get in the way. Kim Gyeongsoo agrees, saying those guys are on their own now. It is better for them because they don't have to work up a sweat anyway. Kim Ah-hyung notes that he is finally listening to her orders. Kim Ah-hyung orders her colleagues to proceed inside. After taking care of the guards out front and heading down a long flight of stairs, they find themselves in a place where loud music is blasting, and the people inside are like zombies swaying back and forth. Kim Ah-hyung is surprised to see them in such a state and asks what the hell they are doing. Meanwhile, Kim Dong-cheol, who is sitting upstairs, observes the police and expresses his expectation that something like this would happen. He feels that everything is wrong. He announces to all the current club members that there are a few uninvited guests, who have barged in and are trying to ruin the party. He offers a reward to those who successfully capture and bring the guests to him, a pass that allows for unlimited treatment drugs for a month. As a result, all the people inside the club start attacking the police. Kim Ah-hyung orders her team to raise their shields and begin Operation Phoenix on top of a Polonia tree. All the people inside the club start attacking them. The KNP-SU team quickly covers themselves with shields, wondering how these people can be so strong. Kim Dong-cheol says they can't just shoot them, as it would lead to trouble. Kim Ah-hyung orders the firing squad to put on their gas masks, and she throws tear gas grenades. However, one officer points out that the tear gas has no effect on them. Kim Dong-cheol calls it idiotic, as the attackers are experiencing euphoria much stronger than pain, and the tear gas won't bother them. He then orders the team to gather the drugs and escorts Ms. S. Sang-pi out the back door. Meanwhile, Kim Ah-hyung takes a long jump by placing her foot on her team member's head and goes upstairs near Kim Dong-cheol. Kim Dong-cheol says he underestimates him. She responds that unlike the boss, the subordinates must have received martial arts training. Meanwhile, her team is still struggling downstairs to push back the zombie-like people. Kim Dong-cheol sees them and remarks that they really think they could push them back with force. Kim Ah-hyung launches an attack on Kim Dong-cheol and asks him why he would look away. Does she appear weak to him? She stabs him with a knife. She assures him that it's not a fatal wound, so he shouldn't worry. She didn't want to kill anyone if she could help it, and she stabs a knife into his hand. She emphasizes that she won't kill him. Kim Dong-cheol asks her who she is. On the other side, the KNP-SU team is able to knock down the zombie-like people and head upstairs. Kim Dong-cheol puts many patches on his hands and says that even though the patches stop the bleeding, it doesn't feel any better. On the other side, Kim Gyeongsoo kills Phoenix's guards and calls her to come out. Kim Ah-hyung tells Kim Dong-cheol to come downstairs, surrender, and get treated. Kim Dong-cheol says he has never seen so many police officers since he was in the Special Forces. He remarks that it's nice to see his juniors and introduces himself as Kim Dong-cheol of Class 29X, asking which class they guys are from. Then, he starts firing on them, and Kim Ah-hyung orders her team to fire as well. Outside the tunnel, Hwang Hee-jun says he just heard the gunshots. Will Gyeongsoo be okay? Lee Seong-hyun says Gyeongsoo told them to wait there. Jo Jeong-who says she does not like all this. Why would they bring them here if they are going to make them stand out? They are only being used to fill out head counts. Then why did they go through that secret training? Meanwhile, Choi Sang-muk comes up behind them and asks them what they are doing there. Choi Sang-muk asks them why the coppers are here. Jo Jeong-who tries to attack him with a taser, but he catches its string and breaks it. They explain that the Republic of Korea has strict regulations regarding the use of firearms, and guns are a very sensitive topic in the country. The police are no exception. A case in which a police officer fires a live round can only be seen once a year, and police officers are taught how to use non-lethal weapons like tasers or rubber bullets. The story moves to Kim Dong-cheol, sitting in an injured state with a table behind him. He says they could surely make a dent in this with rubber bullets. Kim Ah-hyung asks what the table is made of. She declares that they will switch to live ammunition and says it out loud, addressing senior Kim Dong-cheol. She introduces herself as Kim Ah-hyung, KNP-SU's class of 30X, and warns that the next batch of rounds will be live bullets. She urges him to stop resisting and surrender, as he needs to get his wounds treated, or else he will die. Kim Dong-cheol responds that he'd rather die. He doesn't want to end up in a prison cell for the rest of his days, where he won't be able to use drugs anymore. Kim Ah-hyung questions if he is really choosing drugs over his own life. Kim Dong-cheol tells them that when he was active in the KNP-SU, his entire life was turned upside down after obtaining drugs while on a mission. He searched the area looking for the highest quality medications, using his position to his advantage. But over time, his body began to build up a tolerance to drugs, and slowly none of the drugs satisfied him. The story goes into a flashback to when he meets Phoenix, and she asks him if it is true that his body has become tolerant of drugs. She offered him candy and told him that it was made up of the most purified stuff out there. She asked if he would like to suck on it once. Kim Dong-cheol licked it and exclaimed that it was electrifying. Phoenix tells him that if he works under her, she will get him even better stuff than this. Kim Dong-cheol eagerly agreed, saying he would do anything and everything for her. Phoenix took a promise from him that he wouldn't eat more than one candy a day, warning that he would get very sick if he did so. The story takes place in the present day, and Kim Dong-cheol says that if he is going to die, there is no need to keep that promise. He knows he has lost too much blood. Desperation fills him as he takes many candies and puts them in his mouth, realizing he won't be able to enjoy these anymore. And this pain he feels is even greater than the fear of death. Kim Ah-hyung informs her that they have live ammunition ready to fire. However, Kim Dong-cheol quickly fires ricocheting bullets at them before they can act. He stands up and urges his junior officers not to just stand there, but to make his funeral extravagant. Meanwhile, Kim Gyeongsoo eliminates guards who are guarding a door and enters a room. Upon seeing Sang-pi in the room, he realizes she's the one causing all the chaos. She says that she had intended to pay him a visit, but he beat her to it. Curious about his identity, she asks him who he is. Kim Gyeongsoo responds, stating that he's heard that question many times, but he never gets tired of it. He promises to make her remember the good old days. The story moves to Kim Ah-hyung and her team as they start shooting toward Kim Dong-cheol. Kim Ah-hyung commands her officers not to stop shooting. Kim Dong-cheol retaliates by throwing a table at them. Kim Ah-hyung says he's putting up a fight even in his critical condition. Suddenly, Kim Dong-cheol jumps from upstairs and shoots one officer. He taunts the junior officers, telling them not to raise their shields without thinking. He questions whether they believed he couldn't do much because he was on the verge of death. He points a gun at Kim Ah-hyung, taunts her, claiming she is afraid of hitting her comrades, and if he shoots. However, she manages to kick him and shoots back. She orders the team to check the injured officer's condition, and another officer declares him dead. But to their surprise, Kim Dong-cheol gets back on his feet and drops a smoke grenade, causing confusion and panic among the team. Kim Ah-hyung orders everyone to disperse, but one officer is unable to see anything in the smoke and gets shot in the head. Kim Dong-cheol announces on the mic how pathetic it is for them to go into panic just because one of their colleagues died. He remarks that as time passes, equipment technology advances, but the quality of the people who use it deteriorates. He believes the officers lack enough experience and warns them to consider it a lesson. Unfortunately, the payment for this lesson will be their lives. Amidst the chaos, Kim Ah-hyung asks where he is shooting from. Within the haze of the smoke, shots go off, and the body of a colleague drops right after. Kim Ah-hyung asks again, where is he shooting from? She gets shot and falls down, fearing for her life, wondering if she will die there. She sees Kim Dong-cheol sitting motionless and checks on him, confirming that he is dead. Looking around, she sees her fellow officer's lifeless body and blood everywhere, causing her to panic. As the unpleasant feeling of death slowly fades away, reality sets in, and Kim Ah-hyung faces fear and despair for the first time in her life. She can only manage to muster frightened moans. The story moves to the outside of the tunnel, where Choi Sang-muk tells them taser does not work on him. They start running, realizing that nothing seems to be working on that man. Choi Sang-muk comments on how they are running away like rats. Bi-Gwang's secret training for his colleagues is straightforward. He teaches them all about the human body's vital organs. With blunt weapons, he teaches them to aim for the solar plexus, the back of the head, the groin, and the joints. Using a weapon with a sharpened edge, he instructs them to target areas with the most blood vessels. The story moves back to when Bi-Gwang is giving training to his colleagues. He tells them that if they encounter an enemy while on a mission, they should aim for the specific places he taught them. Most of their opponents will definitely fall, though there might be some exceptions. In the present, outside the tunnel, Jo Jeong-hee, Lee Seong-hyun, and Hwang Hee-jun place the baton on Choi Sang-muk's neck and chest. Choi Sang-muk remarks that it feels nice. They start running inside the tunnel, asking for help. They are shocked to see people lying on the ground. Kim Ah-hyung sits on the floor, and the bodies of the rest of the officers are lying in front of her. Jo Jeong-hee asks if they are all dead. Choi Sang-muk comes up behind them and says to Kim Dong-cheol that he has done a great job cleaning up here. But he becomes sad, seeing Kim Dong-cheol not moving, and realizing that he is dead. The story moves to Kim Gyeongsoo, who calls Sang-pi Ms. Former Phoenix, and asks where the current Ms. Phoenix is hiding. Sang-pi asks who he is. Kim Gyeongsoo tells her to take a guess, and says when it comes to things like this, she is not slow, so she should know by now. Sang-pi says she is not sure, but her only guess is that he is an interesting person saying interesting things. If they had met under different circumstances, she would have served him tea and chatted. She secretly takes out a drug patch, but before she can apply it, Kim Gyeongsoo hits her and remarks on the specialties of a druggie like her, pretending to engage in conversation while secretly trying to use the patch. She attempts to put on the patch again, but Kim Gyeongsoo kicks her, preventing her from doing so, and taunts her that he would attack her during the time she wasted putting on that patch. She puts a pill in her mouth, but Kim Gyeongsoo catches her mouth, commenting on the unpleasantness of brushing her teeth with a pill in her mouth all day, and takes the pill from her. He dismisses her armbar attempt, mocking her for she thinking it would work without the help of drugs, and knocks her down, strangling her, demanding the location of Phoenix. He asks, what good is it to protect a coward like her that hides her face and feels safe while her subordinates are being slaughtered? Sang-P shouts that Ms. Phoenix is not cowardly. He says she is just a druggie. He feels something hitting behind him. He turns and sees small kids standing, putting drug patches on their faces and arms. As Sang-P tells them they are late. She had told them to come here if they hear a loud noise outside. The kids run to attack Kim Gyeongsoo, but they fall down. Kim Gyeongsoo asks her what she will do now. She puts on the patches and says the druggie is now on drugs. She asks if she gave him permission to mess with kids. Kim Gyeongsoo picks up the knife and gets ready to attack her.